From the KLL studios in Lubbock, Texas.
Hello, country!
It's the Borderline Podcast.
Hold on, there is no such thing as a popular podcast.
With JR on KLL.com.
Hey, what's going on? It's JR. Welcome to another episode of the Borderline Podcast. On this episode, Cody Johnson joins me. So proud of Cody. We recorded this on his bus just a few nights ago, actually. He was playing at Wild West. We talk about his transition, going from van to bus and everything else in between. Big congratulations to him, by the way, because this was his first sellout here in Lubbock. He's always said, he goes, the first time I ever played Lubbock and Wild West, the employees outnumbered the people who came to the show. That was not the case Friday night, that is for sure. There was a line out. In fact, people wanted in so badly. At some point, I happened to notice someone popped a side door and like 10 people rushed in and disappeared into the crowd, like the old movie theater way. I was like, wow. It was crazy. We were all riding very high on the bus afterwards. It was a great night. So big congratulations to him. We talked before the show. Talking after a show is a horrible idea. Just because they're always very tired. They put out everything on stage. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have an exclusive with Cody Johnson. He hasn't talked about it before at all. A certain little event going on in his life. Has not addressed it, not talked about it at all. And he talks about it with me for the first time. So that's coming up. As far as my life, I'm really bad at relationships, I think. Yeah. I may have ended things with a girl via a text message this weekend, and most people were not okay with that, including her. It was, it wasn't probably my best move. So ladies, single. All right, that's enough about me. Why don't we go ahead and kick off the podcast today? Kick things off with Kyle Park. Here's Turn That Crown Upside Down on the Borderline Podcast. Glad to have you here.
After a long day at work, neck deep in the dirt, mud beneath my fingers, sweat dripping down my shirt. I punched that clock at 5, thank God I'm still alive. Hit the gas and head fast to my favorite local dive. And I turn that crown upside down to make me feel alright. Jack has got my back and let that makers make my night. When Beam is on the scene, you know it's how I roll. Or I turn that crown upside down, let them good times flow. I came home late once again, 3 sheets to the wind. All my baby had to say is, where in the hell you been? I've been out with my friends, Evan, George, and Jim. And I don't need water, Johnny Walker, I'm on the rocks again. So I turn that crown upside down to make me feel alright. Jack has got my back, or let that makers make my night. When Beam is on the scene, you know it's how I roll. Or I turn that crown upside down and let them good times flow. Stop to think when I'm thirsty for a whiskey drink. Oh, I turn that crown upside down to make me feel alright. Jack has got my back and let that makers make my night. When Beam is on the scene, you know it's how I roll. Or I turn that crown upside down and let them good times flow. Yeah, when Rebecca Creek is in my drink, I'm fired up to go. Or I turn that crown upside down and let them good times flow. Oh, I let them good times flow.
Kyle Park right there. He actually just debuted the video for that song this last week. You can check it out. It's on YouTube, and it's a great job. I'm coming to stay at your house, Kyle. Nice. Hey, serious note here. My buddy Brandon Kinney, he's a friend of the podcast, friend of mine. Love the guy. He had a bit of a very scary incident happened at his house this past week. UPS driver's there. A drunk driver actually comes and hits the UPS vehicle, which then in turn hits his daughter. It's a horrible, horrible mess. Thankfully, it looks like everyone's going to be okay in the long run. Thoughts and prayers out to Brandon Kinney. While we're at it, why don't we go and play one from him? This is a song that Kenny Chesney actually had on hold for his big revival CD. He didn't end up using it, so you can expect to hopefully hear someone else use this down the road very soon. It's called There's the Sun.
Been cooped up, covered in the snow and rain. This country cabin food is driving me insane. Been a long, cold winter for way too long, waiting on a bluebird to sing me a song. Where the mercury is rising and the clouds are parting, that short skirt walk is already starting. Them buttercups are popping up towards the sky. These cool rays are shading my eyes. Look, there's the sun, there it comes. Summertime has begun. Good time friends, where you been? Jump on in and have some fun. There's the sun. Oh, there's the sun. Kick back and floating easy while the warm wind blows. You'll find us making memories where the cold beer flows. In the ocean and the lake and the swimming pool, everybody's all in, staying cool. Tapping our toes and singing along, and that iPod shuffle goes to shuffling songs. In those little bitty bathing suits, lordy, lordy, having us a sunscreen party. Hey, there's the sun, there it comes. Summertime has begun. Good time friends, where you been? Jump on in and have some fun. There's the sun. Oh, there it is. There's the sun, there it comes. Summertime has begun. Good time friends, where you been? Jump on in and have some fun. There's the sun, there it comes. Summertime has begun. Good time friends, where you been? Jump on in and have some fun. There's the sun. Yeah, there's the sun.
Again, to my buddy Brandon, thoughts and prayers go out there to him and his family in Nashville. Bring it a little closer back to the South Plains with the man from Muscle Shoals, Dalton Domino right now. Here's Dallas.
I've been busted flat off Broadway. I've had Jasper on my mind. My first love from Briscoe, tell me that she ain't got the time. I've spent the better part of 4 years stuck inside a self-made hole. I've been locking up feelings and shooting down reasons to quit. Tonight I'm letting go. It's been a long, long time since 17. But where I am right now is right where I wanna be. Up on me, wasted my time, ran out for my money and left me out in the streets. I wish you the best, and may nothing but happiness find you throughout life. 'Cause living well is the best revenge, and tonight I think I'm gonna get mine. It's been a long, long time since 17. Where I am right now is right where I wanna be. Surrounded by friends. 17. Where I am right now is right where I wanna be. Surrounded by family and friends of mine. Dallas, I ain't looking back, I'm doing fine. It's been a long, long time since 17. Where I am right now is right where I wanna be. That's where I wanna be. Surrounded by family and friends of mine. Dallas, I ain't looking back, I'm doing fine. Oh, Dallas, I ain't looking back, I'm doing fine.
Here in a moment, going to talk with Cody Johnson. Always so much fun catching up with him. I think you can really hear that in the interview, which is less of an interview and more of just a conversation. That's how I always try and do these. Here's Cody right now. Me and my kind.
Yeah, that's my old girlfriend. Saw her when she walked in. Her hair's a little longer, but she's still looking stronger than sin. No, I don't care if you buy her a drink, but she's not the kind of girl you think. Oh, 'cause back when we were loving, she thought cowboys were something, now they ain't. 'Cause she's over buckles, she's over spurs. To her, you're just a heartache in a pearl snap shirt. Been lassoed and let go for the last time. No, she ain't just over me, she's over me and my kind. I guess I ruined it for the rest of us when I left her standing in my dust. Oh, and lately she's been hating rodeos in Copenhagen trucks. Yeah, she's over buckles, she's over spurs. To her, you're just a heartache in a pearl snap shirt. Been lassoed and let go for the last time. No, she ain't just over me, she's over me and my kind. Yeah, she's over buckles, she's over spurs. To her, you're just a heartache in a Wrangler pearl snap shirt. Lassoed and let go for the last time. She ain't just over me, she's over me and my kind. She ain't just over me, she's over me and my kind.
All right. I got a call from Playboy and did a little interview with Playboy, and I'm talking with this lady, and she's asking about different bands and stuff like that. Yeah. And she goes, what? I'd like to know some guys that are on the rise. I want people at different levels, from guys just doing singer-songwriter stuff to guys in vans to guys in buses doing big things. And so eventually, of course, your name came up, and I asked her, had she heard about you? Because she was calling around several different stations around Texas, doing a story on Texas country. She goes, that is not the first time I've heard that name. And I was like, well, I don't believe I am alone in saying that a lot of us hope he is kind of the key to saving country music.
That's a pretty healthy statement right there.
It is, isn't it?
It's what's crazy about this is that's actually, my wife and I were talking about this with our friends at dinner tonight, that this is how this conversation goes down. Babe, there's a girl from Playboy magazine coming out to do an interview tonight. Oh, really? Yeah, like a Playboy bunny? I don't know. She's just a girl from Playboy. You see, you can imagine Brandy was at that interview, and turns out she was not a model.
No. They rarely send the models to do the articles.
My wife was worried about having a private interview with a Playboy bunny.
Yeah.
I, to be honest with you, I kind of was too. But no, it was a really unique interview in that. You're pretty hip with what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
Country music to southern rock music to Texas to red dirt to whatever you want to call whatever you're listening to. You have a pretty good finger on the pulse.
Right.
To do an interview with someone who not only doesn't work for a music organization, but that has a completely unbiased, I guess what's the best way to put this? Just no knowledge.
Starting from scratch. From
the basics. And her questions were they weren't dumb questions. They were just so simple that it really made me think. It really makes you. Sometimes I feel like we're a little too close to this, and
you kind of back away, bigger picture, sort of thing.
Yeah, it made me think about a lot of things that I hadn't normally thought about, and credit that I don't give myself where credit she felt should be due, and that's a product of me putting my blinders on and going to work. But for her and outside looking in, all these things were great, and this is going well, and this is big, and it really, I just didn't realize some of the ripples that this thing makes, and that's what I picked up a guitar to do. I didn't pick up a guitar to make myself famous. I wanted to move people.
Right.
To see someone from a different walk of life moved by the music, that's really cool. That's awesome.
I subscribed to Playboy just so I'll be able to see
just for that article.
Just
right?
for
I did too.
This article.
Definitely not. I mean, I like the articles.
The last time we talked, we were in an office versus in this nice bus, by the way. Nice transition. It looks really nice here.
Thank you.
You're coming up in the world.
Man, somebody was saying something about that earlier today. I was in my pickup truck last weekend. My merch guy Colton and I were running around the pickup truck, and people were, "What happened to the bus?" And man, it just when it don't make sense, we don't do it. We try to keep our ego out of it. It is very, very, very nice to have the bus out on the road, but I think that God sometimes puts holes in my schedule that are for the truck to keep us in check.
You said Trent Willman was going to slap you if you got a bus.
Right.
Has he slapped you?
No, it was one of those things where I was.
He understood
like I said,
at this
we're
point?
doing it right. We're not taking it places we don't need to take it. We're just taking it on the runs where we have to have it.
Gotcha.
Where it's become a necessity, and trying to do it smart. Everybody wants to travel on a bus and be a rock star, but at the end of the day, man, I'm happy just to be doing what I'm doing, whether it's out of a Winnebago or a truck or a bus or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. After we talked last time, your wife almost immediately came up to me because I was asking about cats, and you gave this very man answer of no, I don't want cats or anything else. And she tells me this story you brought home a cat. Yeah. And you set up the litter box. We're very into this cat, and it accidentally got run over or something.
No, she'll hear this interview and she'll probably wind up cussing me out. But she let that cat go. It was too much like a dog. I've never met a cat that would come when you called it. It was like a dog.
Right.
I think she got tired of it and it just disappeared.
So we're suspecting a little foul play.
Yeah, I think Brandy might have had a little something to do with that. And
I can get you another one
because I know it'll at least be 2 months before she'll hear this interview, maybe a month. I've got time to run and hide.
I just found that funny because your answers were all oh, absolutely not. We don't need a cat. Blah blah blah. Man, I can get you a bus cat now. It can be just for
I brought my dog on the bus, actually. The only problem is she sheds like crazy. But, the bus for us has become more of a... We all treat it as our home.
Yeah.
For instance, when my wife and I are in the back lounge back here where we sleep, and before she comes out of the door, she'll knock on the door, just out of habit to make sure that nobody's changing in the next room. And it becomes where it brings you close as a family. I hate to say it like that, but it just brings you close as a family. You learn to live with each other on... basically a one-bedroom apartment with wheels. That's it. And I think that kind of comes out too when you get outside the bus, and it comes out when you get back in the van after the bus. You're more respectable to each other, and you realize how much tighter quarters you could be in sometimes. It makes you very thankful, and the stuff that would normally irritate you, you're going, man, I'm not going to get irritated because we've had it better. This is just a little while. We're going to be on the bus this weekend, the van the next weekend, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun process.
I got a little studio that I live in, and that's what I live in all the time. Having a girlfriend in that's tough.
And see, I'm hoping that it's going to be about a month or two before your girlfriend hears that statement right there.
No, that's okay.
I won't be the only one hiding.
That may have ended today with a text message from me.
Really?
Is that bad? Ending like things via text message? I mean,
no. It depends on whether you plan on marrying her or not, I guess.
I don't know. Do people think that way? Like, it does not even cross my mind. Like, is this a woman I could marry?
I don't know.
I'm like, is this a person that will put up with me and my weirdness? I'm a weird dude.
Man, I think that when you find that person, you definitely know, because you've already given them so much that like, you can't part because they have too much dirt on you. That's not, marriage isn't all about love. It's about having so much dirt on each other that you can't part ways because there's too much incriminating evidence to be told. At least that's the case in my house, you know.
Speaking of incriminating evidence, your wife is pregnant. She's pregnant.
Right. You know, actually, you're going to be the first person I've actually talked about this on air, because I told my wife, we've been keeping it a secret for a long time because...
Yeah, I had no idea this was happening until you told me, like, from the bathroom, I think, earlier.
Right. Well, we'd been keeping it a secret because, I mean, I don't, and those of you who are listening to this who have met me or know me, I'm not a cocky person, but when our career started to excel at a rapid pace, and, man, I'm just Cody. So when people started treating me like Cody Johnson, this figure, rather than a person that I grew up as, it really hit home with me and made me think about, you know, I don't want my daughter or my son to be in a position where they get treated any differently because of me.
Right.
My wife doesn't sing and play a show. My daughter or my son may not play a show. I do. That's what I do for a living. So I didn't want to drag them into that and seem like I was exploiting it in some way for publicity or to get talked about. But obviously, when she's 8 months pregnant and she's sticking out like she's trying to smuggle a watermelon out of Walmart somewhere,
it's hard to keep that secret.
It's very hard to keep that secret, you know. But I can't wait. It's really driven me harder. I think musically, every song I write, every show I play, it's not so much pressure like I have to do good. I have to. But I tell myself that. It's a different mindset. This is what I'm doing to provide for my family now, not my wife, but my family. It's a very cool drive to have.
Now, the entertainment business is very fickle. I don't believe you're going to have any problems in the future or anything like that. But I'm just curious. Do you live that way? Do you live like with a nest egg, so to speak? And I'm not trying to get into the money thing. I'm just curious, like, do you live like it may end tomorrow?
Absolutely. Well, and that goes back to my old bull rider mentality. You know, I mean, when I was riding, I rode for 3, 4, 5 years. You know, and the 3 of those being really hard. You know, 20, 30 bulls a week practicing and getting your tail whipped just so that you might go win that one rodeo and make your mark. And it's when you're riding bulls, you kind of have to go into it knowing that you may not walk out.
Yeah.
You know, there's a very good chance that you could lose your life, and so you have to put it all on the line. You kind of have to clear your head, clear your soul, so to speak, every time you nod your head. And I think that's something that I've always done. You know, God, I believe that God gave me the blessing of being able to sing and play music. He's given me the blessing of having the people that I have around me, the ability to keep negativity away from me and build this thing, and I owe it all to Him.
Right.
That being said, whether you believe in Allah or Jesus or whoever your greater power is, if there is a greater power, it can be taken away from you just as soon as it can be given to you.
Yeah.
And I think that those that let their ego take a hold or let the bad things in life take a hold, it's a slippery slope. And yes, from the very beginning, since the moment I've been able to set either money back or a plan back or just a plan B.
Yeah.
What if this happens? What if that? Not a paranoia.
Yeah, but
looking
like
for the bad,
a plan.
Just facts. Bad things happen sometimes to oftentimes to good people. But if it all goes away tomorrow, I'm happy. I've got everything I want. I've been given probably more in this life than I've ever deserved, and my worst day is better than most. And I'm very thankful for it. And I just always kind of treat it as I'm thankful to be here. If tomorrow it's not here, I really don't have any room to complain because I probably didn't deserve it in the first place.
Yeah.
If I have to go back to work for the prison, at least I know I'm good at it.
Did you like doing that at all?
Man, there was a lot I liked. There's a lot that I had.
What was your job exactly?
Man, I had a lot of different jobs.
Okay.
I've been everything from a cell block boss to an added segregation boss to a transport boss to a yard squad boss to a field boss to
Why are you all boss? Like it's orange is the new black everywhere?
Man, it's a different world in there, man. When you say it's going to rain, it don't matter if it's sunshine 100 degrees, it's raining because you said it is. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I use that as a drive as well. I mean, that's what I have to fall back on. I don't have a college education. I don't come from money or privilege. So if I fall back on anything, it won't be as fun day to day as what I'm doing now. So I try to use that to appreciate each day and try to work a little harder each day than I do the next. And it's a fine line between stressing out and worrying all the time and just working hard. But
my backup is like call center work.
Man, that's more power to you.
I've done that for like Capital One credit cards.
I'm horrible. I can't do it, man. If you keep me inside all day, I will go crazy. I'll pull my hair out.
Oh, like I don't know. I really thrive there. I love what I do radio, but I know that like if I, for some reason, like you said, fired tomorrow, you would probably be able to go back to the prison. You know what you're doing, everything.
Right.
I'd be able to step right into a call center and be like, okay, I'm doing this.
Right.
I'm scared of bugs. Is really my problem.
Man, I am. I'm scared of a few of them. Spiders and ticks. Like, have you ever had a tick get on you?
Oh yeah.
As a deer hunter, if I see one tick, I will search every piece of the clothing. I will spend 2 hours in front of a mirror. I don't play with them, man. It's horrible. I have tiny little bitty fears. Like I'm not scared of very much at all.
Right.
I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm one of those guys. If you whip my tail, I'll probably get up laughing and go, let's do it again. But if you throw a spider at me, I will run and I will scream, and I will holler, and I will act like a little girl. It's awful. My wife makes fun of me.
Oh, I'm just as bad at. That's why we're cat guys, apparently.
One cat, and you're a cat guy for the rest of your life.
I've only owned one cat. And I'm clearly a cat
that's all
person.
it takes.
Still lots more to come with Cody Johnson, and I want to play my favorite song of his. It's Never Go Home Again, right now on the Borderline Podcast.
Gun blast hands in the air, $500,000 in a burlap sack. Y'all have a nice day as we make our way to the caddy in the alley out back. See, when times get hard, some good old boys turn to a life of sin. We're like Robin Hood, we're just twice as good, but we can never go home again. Well, I grew up singing Amazing Grace in a little white church in the woods. My mama prayed hard for all of her boys, but her praying didn't do a bit of good. The sheriff and the banker man came to push us off of our land, and now we're 6 feet deep, and my brothers and me, we can never go home again. Lord, forgive me, I know just what I do. Take what I need and then I leave the rest to my mama and you. And that tin roof cabin might not have been heaven, but it's closer than I've ever been. God bless an outlaw's weary soul, I can never go home again. Sometimes I dream of that old front porch and my mama patching up a quilt, while my brothers and me lay around in the shade of that live oak tree on the hill. And now it's hideout shacks, better watch your back and cover every track of where you've been. 1,000 wrongs won't ever make it right, I can never go home again. Lord, forgive me, I know just what I do. I take what I need and then I leave the rest to my mama and you. And that tin roof cabin might not have been heaven, but it's closer than I've ever been. God bless an outlaw's weary soul, I can never go home again. Scattergun blast tears a 10-inch hole through an empty burlap sack. As I say my piece for my brothers and me, my whole world fades to black. There's 3 new graves underneath the shade of that live oak tree on the hill, overlooking mama's porch with a fresh coat of paint and a shiny new Coupe de Ville. Lord, forgive me, I know just what I've done. Well, I've been through hell and found myself on the wrong end of a gun. And that tin roof cabin might not have been heaven, but it's closer than I've ever been. God bless an outlaw's weary soul, I thought I'd never make it home again. God bless an outlaw's weary soul, I guess I finally made it home again.
Again, still lots more to come with Cody Johnson. Talking with him is always a lot of fun. We end up going, I just need like 10 minutes, and then we end up talking for 30. How about Dallas Owens right now? Just kind of came upon his music with the suggestion of Dalton Domino, and I'm really enjoying it. He's on Twitter at Dallas the Person. I like that. In fact, I got to read you one of his tweets. It says, "Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. It's my inability to move heavy objects that makes me weak, stupid." Nice job, Dallas. Here he is right now with We Will Fly.
Up ahead, young lady fair said you're in the middle of nowhere, man, why you standing there? Hop on in, man, we'll go for a drive. To me there ain't no therapy like riding, and we will ride. We will ride. I don't know which route to go. I don't care long as it's anywhere but home. It seems like lately when I'm there I just get lonely, and I am only one man, I can barely carry on, carry on. Barely carry on. You remind me so much of my little Jen. She was just your age when she up and died. I'd do anything to see that girl again, but I couldn't get to heaven even if I tried, and I have tried. Oh, I have tried. He said, I've no clue what brings you here. Why don't you loosen up your jaw and talk for a while? She opened up her mouth, but instead she shed a single tear, wiped it off her cheek, looked up at him and smiled. You should have seen her smile. You should have seen her smile. After a while she tried again. She said, life brings me here, I lost my fear of death. He looked her right in the eye and slightly grinned. He said that death brings me here 'cause life is all that I got left. All I got left to lose. Let me teach you something about life and death, something you won't know the whole life through. Not until you draw that last breath and that last test comes to see just where your soul is going to. Oh, I don't know where my soul is going to. Do you see that bridge coming up ahead? He said, about 100 feet across, 100 feet high. Gonna see how close we can be to the edge. Make a sharp turn to right and find some peace as we fly, and we will fly. Haven't you always wanted to fly?
Check in with the latest from JB and the Moonshine Band right now. Here's Yes.
Start drinking again. Was I born and raised in the Lone Star State? Do I think that I'm blessed? Is my neck as red as the blood that's in my veins? Is my neck as red as the blood that's in my veins? Is my neck as red as the blood that's in my veins? The answer is yes.
All right, before we get back to my talk with Cody Johnson, why don't we play another one from him? Here's Dancer Home.
Here she comes a-walking in, cotton dresses swishing. The smoke is thick and the lights are dim, and she sure got me wishing for a little bit of time out on that old dance floor. If she gives me half a chance at a romance, I'm gonna dance her home.
bartender, see that girl, ask her what she's drinking. Tell her if she looks this way, I'll be the one winking. Cause I saw her light up when the DJ played a little George Jones. If she gives me half a chance at romance, I'm gonna dance her home. Cause if we got to two-stepping, we could come a missing and find a corner booth alone. Just a hugging and a kissing like two lovers reminiscing. Man, this feeling's coming on strong. If she gives me half a chance at romance, I'm gonna dance her home. Get the dancing, boy. What the hell is wrong with me? I feel like I'm sinking. How hard can it really be to tell her what I'm thinking? That if we got to two-stepping, we could come up missing and find a corner booth of our own. Just a hugging and a kissing like two lovers reminiscing. Man, this feeling's coming on strong. If she gives me half a chance at romance, I'm gonna dance her home. If she gives me half a chance at romance, no, I won't be leaving here alone. Cause if she gives me half a chance at romance, I'm gonna dance her home. I'm gonna dance her home.
I need to ask you, we talked a while back, you had a publishing deal. I'm curious, are you like any songs on hold for anybody, or what's going on with the writing stuff?
I've had a few songs that are being looked at. A couple songs have been talked about by this artist or that artist, right, or whatever. Ultimately, every time I sit down to try to write a song, I try to start writing for. That's the hard part about being an artist and a writer, is because you have to separate the two. Ultimately, it's either a song that is so not for what I would do that I can kind of get out of that box and think as if I'm trying to write it for a different artist.
Right.
So most of the time, I'll never play it at a show. I could play you a song right now like what I'm talking about, and you, man, I've known you for how many years, and you hadn't played me that because it's not really me.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that I've tried to write for me has kind of come out differently, and I don't know that I've tried to get songs on hold or get songs cut so much as I have tried to write either for myself as to the best of my ability, or to try to write something that's so outside my box that I wouldn't think offhand of who would cut it. You know, for instance, Trent Willman and David Lee and myself wrote a song called With You I Am, that if you listen to the demo that we did, I mean, it sounds like a Blake Shelton, a Eric Church, almost Florida Georgia Line-ish, very marketable sound, this feel to it. But no matter what I do, I think I'm so in tune with who I am as a person, as an artist, as a man. Yeah. If I pick up the guitar and I play it, it's going to sound like me.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's those little thumbprints that stick, and it's been really hard for me to write for other people. I mean, like I said, just the thought of even having somebody else look at it is flattering to me, because I feel like I have such a definite thumbprint.
Yeah.
And everything, you know? It's going well. It's going well, and I'm every time I write, it's a little bit more encouragement to do something different, until it comes down to the crunch time where Trent Willman says, all right, we need like 6 more songs. As soon as you can make that happen, we'd sure appreciate it, you know, that kind of thing.
We have a mutual friend, not a mutual friend, I'm sorry, but through Trent Willman, I know Brandon Kinney. He knows Trent Willman. Right. You know Trent Willman, that's kind of the tree there. But he's from Lamesa. We were sitting down, we had a little pickin' party down in Lamesa one night. He came through town, and you know Brandon's reputation, I assume, of all his songs he's written and everything else.
That's what I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so we had just this really amazing night of like him playing songs, BS, and it's just friends and stuff on a back porch. with a guy who's done a whole lot in his career so far, and just really enjoying it. And I was curious because I didn't let myself take video. I didn't let myself make this a thing. I wanted to just enjoy the moment for what it was. And I was curious, do you have those kind of moments when you're picking and playing with people, and you're like, no, this is just for us right here, right now?
I guess what you're asking, is it hard not to be a fan sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Because, you know, I'm playing tomorrow night with Gary P. Nunn. A couple of months ago, we played a 2-night stand in Corpus Christi at Brewster Street Ice House. Gary P. Nunn opened the show. Obviously, out of the respect and the reverence that I have for him, I want him to come back on and sing with me.
Yeah.
Well, I said I was going to sing Corpus Christi Bay. Robert Earl Keen, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And Gary says to me, he said, I don't really know that song that well. But Johnny Rodriguez, you know, he cut it before Robert Earl Keen. I said, that's awesome, Gary. What am I going to do with that information? You know?
That's great information.
I said, well, Johnny Rodriguez is here. Oh, okay. So I stopped the show and got to introduce myself to Johnny Rodriguez, and myself and Gary P. Nunn and Johnny Rodriguez sang Corpus Christi Bay. It was very, very hard not to act like a fan.
Oh, bad. You
know, I've gotten to meet guys like, you know, the Zach Browns and the people who are popular amongst my age demographic. And I do have a lot of respect for those guys, and I am fans of I am fans of a lot of those people, but I've always been told, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
And I know from my own personal experience how it can be when someone is too infatuated, and gets a little overbearing, and even whenever it is you appreciate it, sometimes it can create stress, undue stress on a person in that position. And since I know that, I've been in those situations a few times. I don't want to be that guy to that artist. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Blackberry Smoke is my favorite Southern rock band, up there with the Allman Brothers and Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Right.
Got a chance to go to Austin City Limits Festival not too long ago and go hang out with the guys in Blackberry Smoke and get to meet them. And Charlie, the lead singer, is one of my favorites of all time. And we had so much in common. Our upbringing, the type of church we went to, the type of guitar we picked up the first time, it was unreal. And it was a great conversation piece, but I had to take a picture because my wife didn't get to make it. It's her favorite band also.
Oh, okay.
And I had to explain to him exactly what we're talking about. Man, I don't want to be that guy. This is for my wife. I'd love to take a picture with you. I know how this goes. Do you mind? And I think it just comes back to those situations where when you present it the right way,
right?
It's taken the right way, you know. And I didn't come up to him at dinner somewhere and, hey, can you spit them noodles out and take a picture with me, boss? You know what I mean? It's just, I know what you're saying. I've been fortunate enough, though, to be in a lot of situations where it's almost cooler to leave the party or wherever we may be, and look at your buddy that you were with and go, can you believe that?
Yeah.
Can you believe that just happened,
and
man?
Just have that as a moment for yourself.
Yeah, it's almost more special to me.
Yeah.
It's almost like the moment that I'm sure will happen tonight here in Wild West in Lubbock. It's that moment where, whether it's a fast song or a slow song, when that crowd and I get together.
Yeah.
It's that intimate moment, like kissing a girl on your first date. We're all in that little tiny moment together, doing this thing together, and I don't need to go brag about it on Facebook. I don't need to go brag about it to other artists or my friends about how cool it was, because for that moment, if you were there, you know what it was. You had those same goosebumps I did. You know what I mean? It was that cool little thing you get to keep for yourself.
Do you know when you have a crowd? Like you got them? Like you're in a couple songs in, and they're coming along for the ride a little bit, but like you just absolutely know when you have them. Can you feel that?
I'll say this, and I hate to keep going back to the bull rider mentality, but if you're going to get on a bull, you might as well think that you can ride him. You better believe that you can ride him the minute you get on it, right? So when I hit the stage, I try to have the confidence that I've already got him.
Oh, okay.
I think that what is more apparent is when I lose them.
Oh.
And if I start to lose them, it's I may have had you, but I could definitely tell I'm losing you a little bit. So that work to get them back into that moment, it's like if you go all night and you never really feel the moment of, that's where I got them. Well, then we had them all night.
Yeah.
But if you go, man, I lost them here and I got them back here, you know, you kind of know where that moment starts and stops. But,
okay, I get that.
But Lubbock's a different story for me, though. Lubbock is about like my hometown, and I'm from 7 hours from here.
Yeah.
It's just fortunate enough for at least 3 or 4 years now, I know exactly what I'm getting. As soon as I get off this bus, as soon as I step out of the van or the truck or whatever I may be in, when I go through that side door, I know exactly what's fixing to happen, and it's going to be crazy. So that gives me the confidence to know right now, as you and I are talking, I feel like I've already got them.
Yeah.
I feel like I've already got them now. If I lose them, that's my job to get them back.
Yeah.
But, that's why we put it
It's not an open mic. They
Exactly.
came to see you.
Exactly. And
so,
I'm going to keep that mentality until I screw it up. That's pretty much it.
Well, I know we're kind of tight on time, but I do want to say thank you. First of all, I remember when I first, I think, really got to meet you, I had to give you a ride in my Jeep Grand Cherokee with you and some of your equipment and a couple of your guys over to the Holiday Inn. And it's just amazing to see, the strides you've had. Because you were on your way up at that point. That was when you were with Kyle doing the Johnson Park tour. And you just had amazing strides since then. You were one of the early people to buy into the concept of the podcast and what we do. And
well, it's kind of what I've always wanted to do. You didn't. A podcast means that you don't want to stay in one market. You want to broaden to as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And that's why tonight, if you come see me tomorrow night or the next week, I'll always say, I'm not Nashville and I'm not Texas. I'm just me.
Yeah.
Trying to do my podcast. I'm trying to take what I do.
Out to the world.
To the world, just like you are. And so I had a lot of respect for that in the very beginning.
No, I appreciate that. And thank you for sitting down again.
I'm just glad that this time we have a little bit nicer accommodations. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you the next time we'll have this. We might be. Now, if I'm in the van
Lubbock
next time,
only, you have to.
we have to be in the back of the van, and we'll just call it the back lounge.
If we're going to do any, we'll do that. I like the. I went on tour. I went on tour with Dick's Hat Band out here, and it was to like uptown to Tulia, and it was not a festival. It was a rodeo. Sorry, and we did that whole thing, and I was in the back, and I was like, this is fun. Where do you normally sit in the van?
It depends, man. I like to drive.
Yeah?
I like to drive. If I need to get sleep, I can crawl in the back row of the van and I can sleep.
You guys do hot bunking?
Yeah. I mean, if I know that it's one of those days that I just as soon stay awake and I have too much to do, whether I'm tired or whether I want to take a nap, I'll sit shotgun and keep myself up. Sometimes I keep a little gut string in the van that's smaller that I can pick and maybe do some writing and stuff like that. But I generally try to stay in tune with what's going on. I don't like to be the guy who sleeps through the whole day and shows up at showtime. I like to keep my finger on the pulse, so to speak.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see what you do in the next 6 months, for goodness sake.
Me neither, because I never know what I'm doing anyway.
Cody, thank you, man.
Thanks.
Thanks again to Cody. He's on Twitter at Cody Johnson Band. I'm on Twitter as well at JRKLL. We're going to wrap this episode up. Of course, I do have your homework, and please tell someone about the podcast. That's how it spreads around. That and other things. Rashes, I guess. I don't know. We're also available via the Stitcher app, and of course here at our home at KLL.com/borderline. We'll wrap up this episode of the Borderline Podcast with the latest from Josh Abbott Band. Of course, you can get his new EP. It's on iTunes. It's called Tuesday Night. Support the man from Idaloo. All right, that's it for me. We'll talk to you next episode. Later.
I know you're flipping through the channels and there's nothing on, and the radio ain't playing none of your favorite songs. I know the cars driving by have got you thinking about what might be going on just a few streets down. I'm hanging around if you're hanging around, if you're staying at home, if you're painting the town, if you're wanting to talk, you can give me a call. Or if you really don't feel like talking at all, if you're drinking a beer, I'm drinking a beer. Just get in a cab and get over here. If you want some fun, if you're needing a buzz, we got all night, baby, if you're up for hanging around. Oh, I'm hanging around. You can leave in the morning or later tonight. You don't have to call tomorrow if it ain't feeling right. No, we don't have to worry if it's gonna last. There ain't gotta be any strings attached. I'm hanging around if you're hanging around, if you're staying at home, if you're painting the town, if you want to talk, you can give me a call. Or if you really don't feel like talking at all, if you're drinking a beer, I'm drinking a beer. Just get in the cab and get over here. If you want some fun, if you need a buzz, we got all night, baby, if you're
talk, you can give me a call. Or if you really don't feel like talking at all, if you're drinking a beer, I'm drinking a beer. Just get in the cab and get over here. If you want some fun, if you need a buzz, we got all night, baby, if you're up for hanging around. Oh, I'm hanging
It's the Borderline Podcast with JR on KHLL.com.